What would be your advices to someone who is willing to launch his business, especially on the web?
Some of the ideas I already stated, but finding a great business partner
Mm-hmm.
that'll keep you through it, keep you going. Finding an idea that really connects with your personal passion. Another one would be just define things as much as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, I'm not a web designer. I'm not a software engineer. Um, but I knew that I sort of had this idea in my head, and I needed to define it as much as possible. So I took all the skill sets that I do know,
Mm-hmm.
which from working in 2 years in management consulting, I learned to do PowerPoint really well, and I learned to do Excel really well, and I got pretty good with handling and analyzing data. So I basically built a really complex Excel model, basically an Excel model on steroids, and structured all the data and created the very first set of working algorithms. And then I used PowerPoint to actually design a really first draft of what the user interface would look like. Um, so, I built everything that I could to the level of resolution that I could, without really being the person that had the right skill sets to eventually bring it to market. And then I went and, I showed that to software engineers and got them excited because they saw it and they thought, I can turn that into production code. I can make that better. And then I took the designs and I went and tried to find designers and, found people that said, this is a good start. I see where you're going. I like the idea. I can make this a lot better. So just doing as much as you can in the early stages and defining it all out in that way is probably my number one piece of advice. And then the number two thing, aside from the earlier points I made, would be that design is really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
So having a good user, both a user interface designer, but also ideally a user experience designer who sort of understands information presentation and some of the psychology around user choice when navigating the web. That's a hugely important skill set to have in your core team.
Okay.
And I think that's only going to increase with the way that the web has evolved, and the way that design on the web has evolved, the way that user expectations have evolved, so that websites are just so easy to navigate. Information is where you want it, where you expect it, and it's just a good experience for people.
Trying to mock up your idea instead of using words, just trying to have some kind of prototypes to show your idea and to speak with the other peoples that are needed to bring it to life. And second advice, it's, if I could tell it in that way, it's a little bit the packaging of your product, being sure that everything is on the correct place so that the people and the users will have a great experience with your project, your product.
Yeah. Just we learned very early on that the visual aspect of it, the presentation, to a lot of people, even far outweighed all the technology and algorithmic backend that we built. And initially we were sort of taken aback by this. Why don't these guys get it? This is really good stuff. It's powerful algorithms. The data is really great, but it has to be pretty. And that's just the standard that people have when navigating the web now. And especially, it's especially true in our case when we want to go direct to consumers.
Mm-hmm.